Good morning, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us through the technical difficulties here. Sorry about that. So I am Susan Phelps with AECOM, and I actually have with me today JD Hutchinson. And so I've been with AECOM for almost 25 years now. I am a GIS project manager with our Water Resources Group, and I'm going to talk a little bit about AECOM and kind of highlight some of our projects we've been working on. And then at the end here, JD is going to show off a little demo that he's prepared as well. All right, so AECOM, we are a global company. We've got about 51,000 employees worldwide. About 4,000 of those are GIS users. Here in North Carolina, we have we have 3 offices, one in Raleigh, one in Charlotte, and a smaller one in Wilmington. Okay, so just a little bit about who we are. I mentioned we're a global company, and we've got quite a few accolades as far as recognitions for the company. We were recently named one of the world's most ethical companies again for 2025, and AECOM is consistently ranked number 1 by the Engineering News and Record in several different categories and business areas, as you can see there. And another interesting fact about AECOM, we were just named the official venue infrastructure partner for the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics and Paralympic Games. So pretty cool. Okay, so we've got several different business lines globally. Those are listed here. I do believe all of these business lines are represented in our North Carolina offices, although I would say that water, transportation, environment, and water and environment advisory, those business lines are the key ones here locally. Okay, so I just wanted to cover a few projects that we worked on. This first grouping is all work that we've done for NCDOT. And so this first one here is about Atlas. I'm sure you guys are probably mostly familiar with NCDOT's Atlas program. And if not, maybe learned a little bit about it at some of the sessions yesterday. But we have been providing on-call GIS and business analyst services to NCDOT and NCDIT for the Atlas program consistently since 2017. And there's 2 main tools that make up the Atlas platform. The first is the search tool that's used to access and download GIS data. And the second is the screening tool, which is used to assess environmental and human impacts using GIS. And so then you have Atlas Workbench, which is basically the repository for all the of NCDOT's project-related documents and spatial data. So Workbench basically leverages all the information identified by the search and screening tools to help NCDOT's project managers make informed decisions and easily visualize potential impacts to their projects based on that available data. So just a little more on AECOM's role. So we work with SMEs and the NCDOT business units to gather new and updated GIS data and push that out to publication for consumption by the Atlas tools. So some of the tasks that we perform for NCDOT include generating metadata per their standards, conducting data quality checks, creating and maintaining services, and publishing data. Some of the other tasks are routine QC and testing of current layers against the tools, and updating the standards documentation. Okay, so another of the efforts that we've been supporting NCDOT with is the Atlas sweeping team. We have 3 of our staff that are sit in on that Atlas sweeping team and attend those meetings, and basically provide support to several of the data sets that are developed under the sweeping team. And the sweeping team is basically just kind of anything and everything else that's not covered under the other Atlas groups. One of the key data sets that we've been involved with is the NCDOT Atlas hydrography. And so since 2019, we've been providing GIS services and support with developing and maintaining the that Atlas hydrography data set, which is stems from the statewide headwater stream spatial data set, or HSSD. And there's been a version 1.4 of the Atlas Hydro that was published, and then a newer version 2.1 was recently published, and there is a version 3.0 of the data set currently in development. Okay, so it's a statewide hydro data set. It was developed by the HSSD, is basically a model data set that leverages the state's most recent LiDAR data. Very dense. The latest version has 1 billion rows of data in it. So it's quite a handful to maintain. It's also very rich with attributes, many of which are important to NCDOT, but also NCDEQ. You can see some of those attributes listed here. And we are consistently helping update that data set as new LiDAR becomes available, and as improved modeling techniques and applications are identified. Okay, the last NCDOT project is the TS4 Stormwater Mapping Program. And basically, NCDOT has permitting requirements that are released by NCDEQ that they have to follow. And the latest permit requirements came out in May 2022, and basically stated that NCDOT needed to initiate this new program over the next 5-year period, so basically by spring, summer 2027. And you can kind of see what those permit conditions are here on the left. It's basically working with the phase 1 MS4s in the state. So that's the largest 6 communities in the state, and those are shown in the map here at the right. Working with them to collect and aggregate their stormwater data, and then integrate NCDOT stormwater data, and develop a new master geodatabase to hold and maintain that stormwater data statewide. And currently, it's just for the permit requirements are just for the phase 1 MS4s, but future permit requirements will likely include the phase 2 MS4 areas. And this is a project that we're working on in coordination with Geodecisions, or Gannett Fleming. So we're handling some of the more program management and outreach tasks, and Geodecisions is helping with the geodatabase development and some of the data QC. So currently, we had wrapped up stage 1 late last year, just kicking off stage 2. So it's going to be a multi-year phased approach, since some of these permit tasks kind of build on others and some are overlapping. But we are making excellent progress so far, and you can kind of see what's been done to date and what is coming up. Okay, So next up was NCDEQ, and the project that we wanted to highlight there was the blueprint. And so the overarching goal of the flood resiliency blueprint is to basically develop an actionable online decision support tool for the state, kind of divided up by each major river basin. And the goal is for that tool is to allow state agencies, lawmakers, regional and government planners to prioritize and direct resources to implement effective flood resilience strategies. So, I mentioned NCDEQ is the end client for this work. However, it should be noted there's a lot of stakeholder coordination at the state and local level that's involved in this project. And this is another kind of phased project or program. The first phase really focused on the local stakeholder outreach and collaboration, doing a statewide data inventory and data gap analysis, and developing a report outlining kind of a decision framework and recommendations, and then developing the draft blueprint and pilot action strategy. And so that was just done for one of the river basins in North Carolina, kind of setting the framework, and then that same framework would be established to the other river basins in the state. So the second phase of blueprint is what's being worked on now. I think is pretty well underway. But it really focuses on development of the actual blueprint tool. And there's several different modules included within the tool. You can see those listed here. And this is the website for the blueprint. And if you go to the website, there's lots of great information about the project. They've got a lot of good information about stakeholder engagement, latest progress with the blueprint project, and they've also got all the reports that have been developed to date. Okay, so this is, actually, sorry, I apologize. This is actually an NCDOT one too, so I got these a little out of order. But this is a geospatial tool that we had developed for NCDOT to assist with demographic analyses. So it's an interactive AGOL dashboard and includes a variety of census demographics, such as population, age, race or ethnicity, income level, and all the data is provided and analyzed at the census block group level. And the data is based on the ACS 5-year estimates. And there's also, within the tool, there's also filters for primary language spoken and or interpreter assistance needs, access to the internet, access to a vehicle, and homeowner/renter status. Okay. So for North Carolina Emergency Management, our Flood Risk Solutions Group has been involved in a lot of projects for NCEM. Many of those are highlighted here. We've been, for the last one here, for the NCFMP production support, we've actually been doing this work for the state for over 20 years at this point, so that's definitely been consistent work that we've been assisting with. Okay, and this is for the 2D modeling, 2D BLE modeling and mapping. That was, I believe, the first project that was highlighted on the previous slide there. So this just shows some of those scoped areas on that upper left image. And then the bottom right image that shows the NC advisory flood site that we assist with. Okay, and this is some photos that were taken, drone photos that were taken by one of our on-site GIS support staff that was helping document damage and provide it back to NCEM. And this was, these drone photos, there's also videos too, if anybody's interested. The work was done by our UAS team in our environment group. So that's just a couple images that were taken from that drone. Okay, and then last up, okay, yeah, it's not gonna play from here. Do we wanna try to switch it out, or?
It's okay, I can just.
Okay.
This was a great video that it doesn't seem to be working, but I will, if you come by the AECOM booth, I can show you. I'll bring it up in ArcGIS Pro so I can show you all the other stuff that went into it. But just wanted to talk about a little bit about some of the other support that we gave NCEM. Hope Morgan and Safakat Siddiqa and I were assisting NCEM with updating some of their AGOL processes right before Hurricane Helene hit. And then when the storm hit, we kind of got roped into to helping support their efforts there. And it was really rewarding work for us, because you felt like you were actually doing something at that time. And we're fortunate enough now to be helping them to build a story map to tell the story of what happened. I guess I should have introduced myself. My name is J.D. Hutchinson, and I am the GIS lead for our transportation planning group in North Carolina. Transportation planning is not, at least from a consultant's point of view, has not traditionally been a really exciting place to do GIS, because it's a lot of making maps to support reports that people are filing. But we're trying to change that. We're getting a lot more into ArcGIS Online, building dashboards. The geospatial demographic tool that was shown earlier was something that was built by Safakat in my group, and it's just amazing. She built a lot of dashboards to help support NCEM during the initial response to Helene. And now we're working together with some members of other teams within AECOM, like Jonathan Price from Susan's group, to build this story map so that NCEM can tell everybody the story of what happened during Hurricane Helene. I wanted to show some of that story map, but it's not really our story to tell, and they haven't, it's still a work in progress. So we want them to be the first to tell it. But this was an animation showing the rainfall for September in North Carolina, which was something we put together with data that was publicly available. What you would see in the video, and what I can show you at our booth, is it wasn't just the rainfall from Hurricane Helene that was so damaging out west, but what a lot of people forget is Tropical Storm Debbie came through just a few weeks before and also dumped rain out there, and the rain started even before the hurricane made it up there. So this is part of that story that we're trying to help them tell. So anyway, I'm sorry that the video didn't work out the way I had hoped, but thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we will see you stop by the booth and say hi and play Jenga. We've got a Jenga tower there, so I'll turn it back over to Susan.
We have a couple minutes if there's any questions, or are we about at time? Okay. Any questions? Connor?
Are any of those dashboards for NCEM publicly available, or is it kind of more for just for them?
No, the NCEM dashboards were for NCEM use, but the story map will be for public consumption. Esri is also putting together some dashboards for public consumption that are going to work with the story map, and they'll link back and forth between the two. So you can see the data side of things, but for people who are not as data focused as many of us here in the room are, we're also trying to tell a narrative version of what happened, because it is really important to get that story out there. Thanks.
What are some of the ways that demographics dashboard is used by
So I don't know if any of you are familiar with the demographic snapshot tool, which is something that AECOM has been providing to NCDOT or providing with NCDOT for a number of years now. We're trying to take that and turn that into an AGOL dashboard. There is, I believe, like an EJ dashboard that was built by NC State originally, and NCDOT was looking to update that. So we're kind of taking what they had done and we're combining it with the work that we do already for that demographic snapshot tool in creating a demographic dashboard that will allow people conducting projects to identify communities in the area of the project that perhaps need a little bit more attention.
Any others? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.